know a little bit more about the UFC 263 review. The undercard, 7-second knockout. Terrence McKinney, he smacked up Matt Frivola straight left. The fastest knockout in UFC history, 5 seconds. If you remember back to Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren. So 7 seconds, not far off the mark there. And then getting into the first of 3 massive fights in this card, Leon Edwards defeated Nate Diaz in a 5-round epic in the welterweight. No belt.
Just a slugfest.
Yeah, wasn't it? Mate, Edwards fucking beat the shit. He fucking beat the shit out of him for 24 minutes. And then, well, just when you think it's all over, Nate Diaz, he
comes out.
He nearly knocked him out. Mate, this is one of the most entertaining fights I've ever watched in my life. Like Diaz was pissing. He was pissing out blood.
He's got so much scar tissue. Anything that
just opens it up.
Yeah,
you reckon?
Yeah.
See if we can get a photo, Max.
Oh, mate, it was.
But to just talk shit when you you come in blood again. You've lost the first 4 rounds by getting belted. Yeah, all right, let's go, let's dance. And was swinging for the fence as well. Like he's a psycho. The man is a psycho.
Yeah,
and
you can't question his heart. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, in a street fight, like he's saying, you know, we've had a battle, but I've actually wobbled you in the end.
Yeah. So there was that moment late in the... Was it late in the 5th round?
5th round.
Yeah, yep.
He'd got a clean hit on Leon and he pointed out at Leon's like, I got you there. Whereas if he had
jumping all over him,
if he had jumped on him, like that would have probably ended the fight or pretty close to.
Mate.
You really wouldn't need to push the pace.
Like he's gassed as well. To jump on someone.
Exactly. We're talking. Yeah. We're in the 5th round by that point. But what was really interesting from the fight as well, like, as you said, Leon Edwards was beating him pillar to post. But I think it was about towards the end of the 3rd round, Diaz started coming forward more, getting punished in the process, but he was actually landing more. So he was actually starting getting back into the fight, and he did late. The 3rd and the 4th round, he got better and better, and the 5th, he then landed the big shot to actually wobble Edwards a bit there, to the point where, like, you know, his legs were very wobbled. Most fights you see that happen, the guy jumped all over the bloke, trying to throw hell and leather to hopefully get the finish. Edwards and Nate Diaz in this case just pointed and said, I got you. So what could have been?
So what's next? Leon Edwards, he's 29, 9-3. He remains 3rd ranked. Do you think he gets next shot at Usman, or do you think they put him through Colby Covington or Gilbert Burns first?
So Burns just lost to Usman. I think Kobe has the next fight with Usman that's coming up. So
is that penciled in?
I don't think it's official. I think they've, of course, been going back and forth about that. Edwards is the next one up on the list. The Masvidal fight makes sense for him because he, of course, was on the receiving end of the 3-piece and a soda. As a fight maybe to do in the interim if he doesn't want to wait. Probably makes sense for him to wait at this point. Like he's Kobe's been there, lost of course, but so
is Burns.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Burns was recent. Kobe lost a little while ago, has had a win I think since then. Still on the frame, makes sense for the rematch there. But if I'm Edwards, maybe I'll wait for that title shot. I wouldn't probably want to fight Masvidal. That bloke's got a chin and can drop some bombs. Diaz, on the other hand, I'd say fun fights.
Yep.
Prize fights.
Money.
Yeah. Like,
make some money.
Like I don't think he needs to fight the killers in the top of the welterweight division at this point. We know he's good. And he's a fan favourite. Everyone wants to watch him. He's probably the biggest draw on this card, honestly. That's why people they tune in to watch it and then hanged around for the title fights. Israel's trying to get to that point. But Nate's just he's next level. Like he's huge. Whether, say, like for example, if Conor beats Dustin, maybe the Conor fight makes sense. But even if it loses, maybe Conor, the trilogy against Conor makes sense. But I think it's fun fights this fight. Go find your biggest stars that are interested to fight Nate Diaz to make huge money and do that. That's what I think Nate should do.
And probably fight a Paul brother.
Yeah. Yeah,
could do.
That's it.
Supposedly Vitor Belfort's going to fight some YouTuber not named Paul.
Really?
But yeah, that's out there in the ether at the moment.
How old's he these days?
Almost 40. But he has boxing acumen compared to, say, Woodley and Askren, who are both wrestling backgrounds.
So just back on Edwards real quick. So Gilbert Burns is the co-main event for UFC 264. He's up against Stephen Thompson.
Yes. And Stephen Thompson
He's ranked fourth at the moment.
Yeah. Had 2 title shots against Woodley and lost both. I think one might have been a draw, actually. And one of them was kind of a non-event, but Woodley ended up winning it.
Yeah.
I don't see Thompson worrying any of these guys at this point.
No.
Sean, he was your shout of beer. Can you run us through Brandon Moreno becoming the first Mexican-born champion of the UFC?
Well, he submits Figueroa in this, who came into the fight, of course, the champion. These guys fought, I think, like a month and a half ago. Like, it was really, really close. Absolute war. 5 rounds, decision, went to Figueroa to retain. But in this one, I think I said it to you as well, like Figueroa came into this, he looked flat. He was being beaten to the punch for everything he was trying to do, which was really interesting. Moreno had channeled like he's in a rose. He was doing the I'm the best before the start of the fight. He looked ready. He looked hot. Hot in the sense that he was competitive.
What are you telling us, Sean?
Hot in the other sense?
No, not in the other sense. We should talk about Shields at some point as well. But like he just looked better. Like he'd gone away from his loss, and we've talked about you learn the most from a loss. He'd gone away, figured out all the things he needed to work on, worked on all of them, come back. He was ready. He was prepared, and he really took it to him. Got the finish there, and then, as we said, became the first Mexican-born champion in the UFC. So, do they run this back? I think this fight's probably this will be a trilogy at some point.
Yeah, surely.
The Henry Cejudo, as we just mentioned, maybe that makes sense.
Well, Cejudo has been sitting on the sidelines for a few years. So.
Retired. But massive props to him. Massive props to getting the win. He was super emotional after the win. Like it was excellent to see.
And I tell you what, the sportsmanship between the two blokes, you love to see it. Devson put Brandon on his shoulders, lifting him up.
Yeah.
You don't see that in too many fights
Not
on
too
the
often.
world stage.
Yeah, I think Brandon came through. What's the fighter series? Ultimate Fighter. I knew it was something to you. He came through one of the Ultimate Fighters, and like on that they did an interview with him originally. It was like, yeah, I hope to be a UFC champion in the future. He's finally done that. He's finally achieved it. Like it's a great outcome. Like massive props to him. Really happy for him.
Moving forward to the big fight of the night, Izzy Adesanya got the win against Marvin Vettori. Tell you what, it went the distance. It went to the decision. I think pretty clearly Izzy was the winner. He really sat back and got some of those calf kicks, those leg kicks.
Really picked him up high.
Marvin can hold his head up high after that effort.
He was in it, but yeah, Israel dominated.
Yeah.
Pillar to post. I think one judge might have given a round to Vettori, but
No, I didn't see it.
But yeah, Israel was best by far.
As a
And-
casual, that was shockingly boring. Can
Yeah.
you is that just because I'm casual, or do
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah,
watch?
no, I tend to agree. Izzy just sat back and just
he picked him apart.
Yeah.
and just worked the leg kicks. And Israel's starting to get that tag, I guess, as a boring fighter. Like,
It wasn't boring by any sense, but
but can you see as a casual fighter if
as a casual
I
fan,
don't need
yes.
a first round punch straight to the face, Conor McGregor belting you, but like
he just sits back?
Yeah.
he
It's
sits
like
back,
Mayweather,
he's
it's just a
confident,
it's a
and
Mayweather.
He'll leg kick the fuck out of you.
yeah.
So what I was
That's the
saying,
thing, like he's a champion. Like he doesn't need to win the fight.
Yep.
Just has to not lose it. Yeah.
yeah, there is a bit of that. I will say though, because I think I said it to you, Peps, that if Vettori come out blazing in this, I thought Israel would put him away quickly. Vettori was more calculated than that, but I also thought Israel was probably a little bit happier to stay on the outside, play the counter fighter role.
Yep.
Israel did, of course, call out Robert Whittaker at the end of it, and Robert's the number one contender. He's been sitting there ready to go, sort out the travel arrangements, and they'll do that fight.
Do it here.
Well,
Do it in Australia.
Well, I think
I thought it
Israel.
meant Canberra for a second.
It's Sean's Rumpus Room. Let's do it.
Do it.
Sponsored by On The Esky.
Yes, there's Mooseheads.
Yeah. I think Israel actually wants to do it in New Zealand. So, Auckland, Wellington, wherever you want to do it. That'd be huge. Probably Southern Hemisphere. Let's go with that. It'll be one of the two. But I think if Israel fights that same fight that he had against Vittori against Whittaker, I think Whittaker can push that pace and will enjoy that fight.
Do you think?
More than, because what happened in the first one, Whittaker, of course, really, really went after him, really trying to put him away early. And then Israel, that was a puncher's chance fight. Israel, of course, has a great history of kickboxing and striking, so he can put guys away, and he won that fight and put Whittaker out. But it's not to say that Whittaker can't compete in that method. And I think a more methodical fight like this was with Vittori, I think Whittaker can win that.
Really? Man.
So if that's the type of fight it's going to be, I'd back Whittaker in that one. If it's going to be, gunfight where they come in blazing and just shooting bombs in each other, then Israel, I think, is more technical in that kind of situation. So if I'm Robert, I would have watched that fight and gone, I can probably win this. I would have won that fight if I was, instead of Vittori in there. If Israel was going to take that more relaxed position to sit on the outside and take the counter fighter and avoid the takedowns. So,
I think that's the big question: is Israel a little bit too comfortable at the moment?
I don't think so.
Can he be shocked?
Well, he went up and fought Yarn at bloody light heavyweight. Like, you've got to give the procs. He's not sitting around. He's not idle either. Like,
he's a great champ. Like, he's a great champ, and he's one of the faces of the.
I think he's fought 5 times in the last 2 years.
That's what you want. You want a fighting champ. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
But I think you're right. And it is that division. He can only beat what's in front of him.
Yeah.
Like, what else is he going to do to beat? He just all he has to do is beat him.
True.
And he did, and he
Well, he was
soundly beat
playing
him.
with Vittori. You saw what he was doing. Like, towards the
scrap.
fight,
and a few fights ago, that's what we
it's like-
loved. We loved those antics in the fight. But now it's like,
is he
okay.
getting
Well, he didn't finish the bloke.
too complacent?
I don't know, and it's a whole part of the fight game. It is entertaining as well as.
Oh,
I
definitely.
agree.
He definitely brings the entertainment.
Anyways,